Hey folks, welcome to Nino's Corner.tv. I'm joined once again with a good friend of mine, really good soul, really good songwriter, good artist, Billy Falcon. Billy, thank you so much for joining me.
Oh, thank you, David. It's great to be here. Hi, folks.
You have two new songs coming out. Well, they're out already. Blame Brandon and I wanted to discuss a little bit about The Warrior, the song that you wrote that I had a little cameo in. It was fun. My first time ever. I owe that to you, Billy.
Well, you did a great job. It's fun. Yeah, we have to do it live sometime.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was going to ask you, man, like you've been with some great songwriters and you've written for some very impressive artists. But before we get into that, before we go into that, let me just read off a quick commercial for Flip City Magazine, folks. Flip City Magazine, this is the magazine right here, folks. This is where they troll the deep state. They troll the deep state. It's actually really funny. I've been reading quite a bit of these magazines on the throne, and you all need to check out Flip City Magazine. Check out Flip City Magazine. I laughed the whole way through it. I'm happy to partner up with Flip City Magazine because they're totally independent, raw and uncensored, and I think they're making a positive impact on culture. If you were a fan of Mad TV before they went woke, you will love Flip City Magazine. I think they're better than Mad ever was, and that's the truth. Flip City roasts the same nonsense and content that I do, 100% independent, printed and uncensored free speech platform for artists and writers. You might get a kick out of that, Billy. Nothing else exists that's like it. Fighting the culture war with comedy and art continues the American tradition of ridiculing bad ideas by laughing at them, which I can get part on. Smart and flippin' hilarious. Flip City Magazine in print today at flipcitymag.com, flipcitymag.com. You folks can hit the link below. Flip City Magazine, here's what the covers look like. They're really cool. They're really cool. I love them. I've been reading them on the throne whenever I get a free moment, and it's pretty damn funny. All right, Billy, let's get started, man.
Good stuff.
Yeah, no, that's actually, I'm not gonna lie, I don't endorse anything that I don't read or use. So you've written songs for some amazing artists. I mean, you've told me a few of them, and one of them being Bon Jovi, correct?
Yes. Yeah, John's become a good friend. Like I told you, how I come to even know him, it's probably the worst point in my life. I had lost my wife. She was 29 years old when she passed away, and left me with a beautiful baby girl. And,
may I ask how she passed away?
Breast cancer.
Oosh.
I should say she passed away of doctor, because to me that's it's the medicine. So she, but God is amazing. And at a time after she passed away, it's like what the gift I had, and I believed even then that I had a gift to write songs. And that's God gave me one gift that I know of, and it's to write songs, a heart for people, and the ability to communicate the heart. Looking at the world, communicate whatever it is it's making me feel, or whatever it is he's making me feel. Anyway, after my wife passed away, the gift I had got richer and deeper. It was as if my brush got dipped in a deeper shade of I had a new palette of color, and the colors were deeper and richer. And because before she passed, I could write songs. After she passed, I wrote songs that moved people. Sometimes to stay married. I had people coming to me saying, "We stayed married because of your song," and I'd always go, "Not me, thank you, him, not me." He gave me the song because there were a bunch of these songs after my wife passed, but I was. Thought was in my mind back then. It was just me and my baby, and the only light in my life was that little baby. And the only thing that kept me going, just like I heard you say the other day, Axel kept you going at the worst point in your life. He was your friend. Well, that little baby, Rosie, became my buddy. And I didn't go to hell with myself because of her. And really,
So
truly,
how old's
because
your baby now, Billy?
she's 36, I think, or
No.
7. Yeah. Yeah. And she's a brilliant singer songwriter. Her husband is a big country star. His name is Rodney
She's still your
Atkins.
best friend, correct?
She's my buddy. Yeah. And her little boys are the loves of my life. There's 2 of them, Ryder and Scouty. They're
Wow,
just
Billy.
beautiful little boys. So I'm a blessed man. But in that little period of time there, David, where I thought it was over, I really believed nothing good could ever happen again. However, I was a believer. I was a Christian. I used to teach the Bible with my wife in New York. But when she passed, I just didn't know what anymore. I just couldn't figure out how I fit in, how he fit into my life anymore. I wasn't angry with God. It was just, I just felt broken and didn't know what I did. All I did was I kept writing songs. And somewhere along the way, I get a call from somebody, told me Jon Bon Jovi was my biggest fan. And I'm going, get the hell out of here. And at the time, he was like this guy with all that hair and earrings, and he was beautiful, you know. And I'm thinking, Bon Jovi, really, that guy with the hairy chest walking in? And I'm going, he's a fan of mine, which is weird because I felt like that wasn't what I did. And I do have a hairy chest, though. No, so there I'm going, yeah, sure. And I'm believing nothing good could ever happen again. And this guy is a friend of mine, called me, and he ran into someone on the street that worked for Bon Jovi. They get to talking. The guy mentions my name. The guy who worked for John went home and told John, hey, I ran into a buddy of mine who writes with that guy. You're a big fan of Billy Falcon. John takes my records out of his closet because I had made 3 long playing records to that point. And he starts listening to my records, and he tells the guy who works for him, call your friend and find out what happened to Billy Falcon. And what happened to Billy Falcon was, my wife died and I disappeared for like 4 years. From there, she was sick and then she died, and I was just consumed with taking care of my baby.
It's like life hit you hard and you.
Yeah. And what I did was I continued to breathe in and out. You know, that's what I did. I loved my kid and continued. I screwed up so many things. I made so many mistakes, but my love for her was for real, obviously. But I was broken, and I get that call, and the person says, come to John. John wants to know if you have any music. Now, I had these songs I'd been writing since my wife passed that I thought no one was ever going to hear. I never thought anybody was going to hear them because I thought nothing good could ever happen again. And I thought this was a tease. And this friend of mine who's on the phone telling me that Bon Jovi's my biggest fan tells me John is a huge fan, wants to know if you have any music he could hear. And if you do, he wants to, maybe he'll meet you tomorrow night at this Whitesnake show. I've never been a fan of Whitesnake.
I like a couple of their songs.
Yeah. Well, you like the video with the girl dancing on the car.
Yeah. Didn't she pass away?
Oh, it's sad if she did. I didn't know.
I don't know. I don't know. People
I think maybe she's old now, though.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I go to Whitesnake the next night. John isn't there, but this guy who is kind of his representative, a guy who works for him, is there. And I'm in the front row watching 𝗵𝗲𝗄𝗃 sing those songs. And I give this guy this little cassette of these songs I'd been writing. And I go home, I think, that's that. I'm never going to hear anything about that. Jon Bon Jovi's a big fan. And it wasn't until 1.5 years later, I get another call from someone that runs into John in a bar. And a guy who used to be in my band, and the guy says he's standing at the bar, and John comes up to him at this very famous bar, in that legendary bar in Nashville, called in Jersey, called the Stone Pony. Springsteen had played there, John had played there. I used to play there all the time, and it was just a hangout. And John's there one night. He's a big star, so my buddy's at the bar, and John walks up to him and says, "You used to work with Billy Falcon, didn't you?" And my buddy says, "Yeah, I did." And he said, "Have you ever heard the song?" And he sings them the chorus to one of the songs on that little tape I had given him 1.5 years prior. Wow. These are all weird chance meetings. I mean, it was 2 or 3 chance meetings of people that knew John, and then. And now it's 1.5 years. This is 1.5 years after I initially gave the video. I totally forgot about any possibility of Bon Jovi being for real on that thing. And I get this other phone call from the guy who met John in a bar, and the guy, John sang him one of the songs called Power Windows. He just sang him a little chorus. And he said, if you can get in touch with Billy, have him call me. And that night I get this call. I call John. I sound like I'm talking to myself. He sounded so much like me on the other end of the phone. He said, I was in Nashville at the time trying to sell my soul for $300 a week to write songs if I could. And he just said, Billy, I'm your biggest fan. I'm going out to the movies right now, but can you send me anything else you have? He says, these are the greatest, these are the best songs I've heard in the longest time. Send me more. So I'm thinking, okay, I'll send him more. I couldn't believe it. I still thought this was going to be nothing. A week later, I come back to the house I'm staying in Nashville. I was here for a summer trying to figure out my life. While my folks watched my daughter for me, I just had to get out of New York. It was too hard to be there and try and work. And I came in the house, and these people, my good buddy, let me stay. Him and his wife put me up for a summer, and I walked back in their house, and their kid is in the living room with his girlfriend, and it's summertime. It's hotter than hell, and they got their bathing suits on, and they look up at me. I just came from my last meeting in Nashville. I had to go back and put my daughter in school. And they look up at me and say, Billy, you got 5 messages from Jon Bon Jovi. They have the codec phone on the floor, and they're pushing the button, and they're listening to John say, Billy Falcon's there. Can you have him call me? And he sounded nervous. And so I called him, and he was worried that I was going to make a deal down here. And I obviously was about to. And he said, don't do anything there. Come home. I'll send you a plane ticket. So this moment was like no moment in the history of the music business for me, because the music business, probably like your business, used to be, we're going to do this, and then 9 months later you'll get the next call, and then maybe no one ever calls again. But this was bam, bam, bam. He said, come have dinner with me. That next Thursday night I was in his house with his wife and his manager. John's sitting there with his shirt open, hairy chest, chains, earrings. And I'm like, where am I? It was so surreal, because I'm sitting with this huge rock star. It was after Slippery When Wet and Living on a Prayer. It was right before he made that Blaze of Glory record. No, it was right at the time he made the Blaze of Glory record out, and the Young Guns record. And I said, we eat dinner. We retired to the little room, and I'm surrounded by about maybe 500 platinum records all over these walls. And I'm like, wow, this is wild. And he hands me a guitar and he says, sing. And I sang 6 songs, new songs for him. And he looked at me and said, stop, I hate you. Stop. And then they handed me a record contract. This is not the music business. This is weird. He handed me a record contract. And I remember going back into Manhattan, where I used to walk around with my wife and baby in the stroller when we lived there. And I just read this record contract crying, because this was God moved. God moved a rock star to love what I do, which is really weird. And to be honest, there's been other people sing my songs here and there, but John has turned into like a brother. I mean, he's been, we just, in
like
so many
divine.
ways.
It was divine.
Yes. Our relationship is fair, and he's a good dude. And it's like brothers. It's just, we work, we talk. I pray for him all the time. He lets me lay hands on him when he's having trouble singing, and he's a good guy. Politically, well, maybe.
That's another story.
He knows what I do, which is funny. I send him these songs, and I know he's just somewhere shaking his head. But to his credit, he don't cancel me, and that's really neat, because a lot of folks just go, I've lost a lot of friends in this thing. I've lost a lot of friends.
I have too. I've obviously.
Yeah.
But I think I lost more friends to me not drinking anymore and giving up that vice.
Yeah, I guess
than this. Honestly, I just, I was thinking about it, and I get to check it off my bucket list. The fact that I was able to get on your on the warrior, the song Warrior,
and you're on the record, David. You got the record, right? I gave you the record.
Yes, I do.
So you're on a CD too. So big.
It's just incredible, man, and I consider you such a good friend. If you want, I'd like to play the warrior right now, because last time it really didn't play well, and I think this time we might have a better shot at it. Do you mind if I play it?
Sure, please do.
Okay, so let's see here for a second. Hold on, folks.
his children, the blessed millions, the ones the sun set free. The sanctified apple of his eye didn't fall far from the tree. Forgotten ones he rescued from the land of broken toys. Holy soldiers, shoulder to shoulder, shouting with one voice, shouting with one voice. Warrior, warrior, rise up, rise up, our time is now. Warrior, warrior, rise up, rise up, call fire down. God loves the warrior. Eagle battered, torn and tattered, caught in a hurricane. Flood waters rising, freedom's crying, and they're calling for rain. The devil spits, it's time to quit. No hero's gonna come. We ain't going nowhere, no way. Love's already won. Love's already won. Warrior, warrior, rise up, rise up. Can't turn back now. Warrior, warrior, rise up, rise up. Call fire down. Know the story ends in glory. God loves the warriors. Here we go.
Rise up, higher and higher. Like King Charlie Prince said, the roof is on fire. Revolution number 10, 11, and 12 is where we go one, not every man for himself. 2021, 1776, ain't nothing easy about it. These people are sick. This fight ain't fought with our flesh and blood. We're building a boat, God's bringing the flood. Eyes to heaven, we're seeking his face. This battle will be won in the secret place. Jesus in our heart and God on our side. We'll be the ones standing at the end of the fight. At the end of the fight. At the end of the fight. Darkness to light. At the end of the fight.
You see the darkness closing in. Those who are with us are more than those who are with them. Our God's a warrior. Warrior, warrior, rise up, rise up. Our time is now. Warrior, warrior, rise up, rise up. Call fire down. Till the story ends in glory. God loves the warrior. Warrior.
That's beautiful. And you know, I'm not just saying that because I'm in it. I gotta say that that I find myself singing that in my car sometimes, my truck. and I'm driving. It's a beautiful song, Billy.
Well, thank you. Thanks, David. Thank you for being part of it. It's just fun.
It's an honor. It was an
Yeah.
absolute honor. And
Great fun.
when I heard it, I was like, oh yeah, I got to be a part of this. It's what we need right now, and especially with where we're going. And you and I both know we talked to a lot of the same people. Where we're headed it's going to get tough. It's going to get a lot tougher for people, and we need to be strong in our faith.
It's everything. It's everything. And I like I'm on Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday nights, I think 6:30 on my channel, which is Billy Falcon Music. And I just preach. What I preach is I sing some songs and I preach, but what I preach is just get your eyes up. Get your eyes up. The Bible says, keep your eyes on Jesus. Now we do all this stuff. We have to live here in the horizontal, but we shouldn't let our heart be built out of what we're getting in the horizontal, because if we do, man, we're on a terrible roller coaster ride, and you're going to get really tired. You're going to be really worn out unless you keep your eyes on him, on the Savior. If you're a believer, keep your eyes on the Savior. And there's peace there, and in his presence, God, it says in Philippians 4, it says a peace that passes understanding is what we need, because it's very understandable to be very unpeaceful these days. There's so much hardship, so many people in such bad straits due to what has gone on and what is going on. But even there, even inside of that, I really believe that if people will just spend the time to know, not to be religious, not to have to go to church, not to have to do anything. It's just spend time acknowledging that there is a God, and he is your Father and loves you, and is not the one to blame. And he's the one that's going to bring our Red Sea moment to pass. And the Red Sea moment is coming. We all know that. We don't know when. He knows when. He knows what the best time is. But we're all waiting on that. We've been waiting for a while. Obviously, it's been a long fuse to but we're waiting on a Red Sea moment. There's no two ways about it. The Bible is full of them.
And if you think about it, when you read the Bible, it is full of those moments.
Oh yeah.
And God has never let us down. He has never let us down. So why do people think he's going to let us down this time? So it is going to be a Red Sea moment once again. Yeah. And I agree with you on that, Billy. So you have a Bible study type?
Basically my channel is simply, I get to know these people really well. There's not that many of them. There'd be 500, 600 people after a couple of days on a view. But I teach the Bible. Basically, I'm not any kind of theologian. I don't teach anything that I don't truly believe in my heart. And I think the Bible, the answer is there. The answer to everything is definitely Jesus. He is the answer.
I've entered one of your chat rooms before, and it was fun. It was really good to see. You play the guitar. Yeah. You talk to people about God, and it's every what days of the week is it?
It's Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday evening. Usually around 6:30. I send out a notification.
And what's the name of your?
It's just Billy Falcon Music, the YouTube channel. But it's like I said, I preach a little bit, but and we pray for folks, and people get healed. There's so many people sick, and folks are getting healed, and they're all pulling together. And that's what the coolest thing about this is when the unity, because there's, in Warrior, what does it says? Do not be discouraged when you see the darkness closing in. Those who are with us are more than those who are with them. There's more of us. But the problem is they walk in lockstep. It's like we get fragmented, and there's infighting. That's got to stop. We don't all have to believe the same exact things. We just got to be careful.
We got to at least have the same focus and goal. And that's the whole. That's how they're distracting everybody right now with these, when dividing us is with these. LGBTQ, BLM,
oh my,
CRT, the whole thing is just what's dividing America right now. And as long as we're divided, and as long as we're distracted, they can attempt to fulfill their plan for evil.
Yeah. Just on what you were saying before, just right before, about God will not be late, right? That the Red Sea moment is coming. But when you think about, and you say there, and you're absolutely right, throughout the whole Bible, there are those moments. But in so many of those moments, the characters involved in those moments, whether it be these guys, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Do you know those guys?
No.
Okay, three dudes in the kingdom, and the king comes up. The governors who are jealous of these three Jewish men who were being promoted because they were smart and they were doing the right things. The king promoted them. Their peers were jealous of them, so they went to the king, and they knew they were Jews who worshiped the one true God, and they went to the king and say, "King, you should build a statue, and you should make sure that everybody in your kingdom only bows down to that statue and doesn't pray to anything else. And if anybody else, if they pray to any other god, that they should be thrown into a fiery furnace." And the king goes, "Yeah, it sounds like they're appealing to his ego. And he says, "That sounds like a great idea. It sounds like so they do it. They do that. They make an unretractable law, and then every time this music plays, the whole kingdom has to bow down towards the statue and pray to this idol. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego are men of God. They do not bow down. The governors who got the king to do this went to the king and said, 'Hey, king, those three Jewish men are not bowing down. They're not bowing down to your statue.' And so the king goes to them and says, 'Hey, boys, you're not bowing down to the statue. If you'll bow down, we'll give you a break here.' And they go, 'No, king, we're not going to bow down. We only bow down to our God.' And then he's the thing that had to happen was they get thrown into a fiery furnace. And they said to the king, 'Even if our God is able to rescue us, even if he doesn't, we will not bow down. We will not bow down.' So they take him to the furnace. And you got to figure that on the way to the furnace, these guys are going, 'God,
Where are you?'
now would be good. Now would be a really good time to show up. But it wasn't until they were in the furnace. The door opens. The two guys that open the door just are extinguished. They go up in flames. They're gone. They throw them in, this thing, three men. They throw them in, shut the door. The king looks in. I don't know how he looks in. There are four men in the fire. One is an angel. They put in there, they say three. There are four men in the fire. But in their minds, going to that fiery furnace, they had to be going, "God, now?"
Yeah.
Maybe, like Daniel getting thrown in the lion's den, same thing. As he's walking towards the lion's den, you think he's going, "Now would be a good time."
Yeah.
How about now? No, it wasn't until he was in with the lions. And you hear Juan say, "We haven't gotten the gut punch yet." Kim Clement said, "America will be driven to its knees." You know what? America's not driven to its knees yet.
Well, we're getting there. We are close.
And when we get there, then we'll go, "He's the only answer." And when we finally get to the place where I think a large segment of the population gets to the place where they just go, "There's only one way out of this. There's only one way." I think that's when it's going to happen. But God is the king of the Red Sea moment. He's the king of resurrection and deliverance. That's what he does.
I want to touch on this one more time, Billy, because, we all go through like a dark night of the soul in life. Some people go through it many times. I've been through it. When I got my throat slit open, when I overdosed the same year, there's a lot that I went through. But you lost your wife. You had to raise your child on their own. We all go through a period of darkness. But I feel like that's when God takes us and rebuilds us for a new purpose. Mm-hmm. And, for me, the only way I could, there's so many people listening to this program right now that are probably going through that moment. They're going through the dark night of their soul, which I've gone through, you've gone through, and I don't know if I'm going to go through another one. We just don't know. But we're also going to go through this as a country. America is going through it now, and we're beginning stages of it to where it's going to be really dark. What kind of advice do you have for my audience in going through it personally or expecting to go through it as a country?
Yeah. My advice to everybody I talk to, and I beat it to death on my channel. I just beat it to death, is we are raised as kids, whether we're in a religious family or not, the world teaches you their version of God. And their version of God is a powerless God who's no fun at all, who doesn't want you to do anything that's fun. There's no thrill there at all. There's nothing. There's a bunch of rules and don't. The religions basically teach don't. Okay. They don't teach relationship. God put Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden for relationship with him. And that's what got blown when they decided to do the only thing he told them not to do. What died that day, that very day, because they lived for a while, but he said, that day you'll die. What died that day was their open connection to God, the walking, talking relationship to God. Jesus came to reopen that. He didn't just come to take away the sins of the world and get us to a place where we have eternal life if we choose to believe that Jesus is Lord and believe in our heart that God raised him from the dead. We get saved right then, not because of what we do, how good we are, it's how good he was and is. So once you're saved, again, Jesus didn't just come to get you saved. He came that you might have life and have it more abundantly. The only life that's abundant is a life walking with God, like he's your father, your friend, your lover. Jesus is your savior. And how is that? People, for the most part, don't get to that in church. What they get in church is something else. And then we just saw what happened to churches in the last couple of years. They all just shut down like they were hot dog stands. I mean, they just shut down. They did it for money. They did it because they were never in it for real anyway. Some of them were true, and some of them went to jail. God bless them. But what I would say to folks is Jesus said, when they asked him, how do you pray? He says, go to your secret place, shut the door. And it's just to spend time with him. Spend time with him. How do you do that? You just sit down and shut up and go, Father, I want to know your presence. I do it. It's something that kind of happened to me. No one ever talked to me about the presence of God. I didn't know what it was. And it just happened to me. And I would sit out there, right there on my back porch. It was in the summer, and I'd try to read the Bible in the morning, and I'd spend about 2 minutes, and I'd try to pray, and I'd pray for my daughter and my friends and my family. And after about a minute, I was distracted. I'd read the Bible, and then I go, what did I just read? I read it again. What did I just read? And I'm distracted by everything I need to do in the world, my song, my video, my movie, whatever I'm doing. I'm just distracted. The phone call I need to make. And after I was touched by the presence of God, I went out there the next morning, where I always tried to go spend time. I just didn't know how. I was out there for 4 hours with tears on my face, because he heard my prayer. I just wanted to know him, and he will hear your prayer. And if you'll just, the Bible says, be still and know that I am God. And the word know is to experience. And it's the same word that Mary said to the angel when the angel said, how can I have a child? I haven't known a man. We're supposed to have an intimate relationship with the Father and with Jesus Christ. And it's there that our bodies are healed. It's there that your family will be taken care of. And all the stuff you do, the good things you do, the good deeds, that's all good. Feed the poor, pray for people. The most important thing you can do is to spend time alone with your Creator and with your Savior. And I just do it by sitting. I pray for 30 seconds. I pray for everything I can think of to pray about. If I need something, I ask for it. But my time with him is not asking. It's just, Father, cover me. Just, you know what I need. You know what I want. You know what my body, you know what's going on here. You know the next thing that's going to try and get me. And you know what? He's healed me. He heals me every day in that place, every day. And I'll spend between 15 minutes and an hour and a half just sitting. And I do very little talking. I just sit in his presence. And that's what I would tell people. It says Jesus often went into the wilderness and spent the night. If Jesus needed to spend the night talking to his Father, or just in his Father's presence, what do we need to do? But that's where the peace is. That's where life is still beautiful, no matter what they do out here, no matter what they're throwing at us. Life is still an amazing thing to live if you're walking with him. And it's not a religious walk. It's a walk in love, and love is,
And then we got to realize too, miracles are real. Like, they do happen.
Are absolutely real, David.
I look at my life as a complete miracle. I should have been dead in 2011. I'm on bonus time right now, but the way I see it is, miracles are real. And we all have a purpose to fulfill. I believe every single one of us. Nobody excluded. Everyone has their own talents and arts and ways. Like, yours is music, mine was boxing, now it's podcasts, whatever. I mean, we all have talents, and we have to use them for the glory of God, right?
Yeah, and God gave you a gift, and it's to love people, and it's always loving people. That's what it is. He doesn't want, again, we talked about it before we got knocked off on the last, he doesn't give a gift for me. He didn't give me the ability to sit and write a song that makes someone once came to me on an autograph line, an older woman. I was on an autograph line, and there's this long line of people, and I noticed there were a couple of strippers who we knew that would always come to our shows in that area, very pretty, sweet girls. I never knew strippers, but these strippers I knew. And I'm looking at these three strippers, and behind the three strippers is like an 80-year-old woman or a 75-year-old woman, and she's crying, and she's holding a cross, like a weaved cross. And I'm looking at the strippers going, wow, this will be fun tonight, because these girls are fun. And then this is where I was at, I'm sorry to say. And then I'm looking at this woman crying, and I'm going, what? And I'm a believer at this point, but I was like broken. There was I was still broken.
You were torn.
Yeah. And I said, can you let that woman come up here? Because I didn't want her to wait. She walked up to me. She handed me this cross. She said, I wanted to give you this. And she's crying. And I'm going, I wonder what she's crying about. She says, my grandson saw his mother murdered in the kitchen of his house, and he hadn't spoke for a year. And we played him your song, Heaven's Highest Hill. It was the song I wrote about losing my wife and telling my daughter her mom wasn't coming home. They played it for the little boy, and he spoke for the first time in a year. And I'm sitting there on this stupid autograph line. Again, the stripper is still in view. So I got this real weird dichotomy going on here. And this woman's crying me, and she's telling me her grandson spoke after not speaking for a year. After hearing a song, God gave me the song. It's the only reason it had any effect on that child. And I look at her and I go, ma'am, I'm so blessed. I'm so happy that this happened, but it ain't me. It is him. And I hugged her, and I'm hugging her. I'm crying now, but I'm still seeing the strippers.
Yeah.
Anyway, but God gives us gifts to use for his people, not to take, like I thought when I first started writing songs. And I told you that I thought it was for me to get rich and famous and make it easier to chase girls. That's what I thought. I saw the Beatles. I said, guitars, long hair, girls screaming. That's what I'm going to do. That's my job. And that truly was how it happened. Before that, I thought I'd be a baseball player, but no girls were screaming for baseball players. So I knew I was going to, whatever it was, my work was going to be, it was going to be playing. I like to play. But yeah, God gives us gifts to bless his people with. And it's amazing. And that's what you're doing, and you're doing a good job of it.
Let's play one more of your gifts here. I have Blame Brandon. And folks, this is a good one. I love this song. This is a really good one.
That's right. He'll blame somebody else. So might as well blame him.
Here we go. You ready? You ready, Billy?
Yeah, man.
Is this the premiere, or is it already out?
This is the premiere.
Oh boy. All right, here we go. Let's hope this goes smoothly.
Welcome to Bizarro World, where a man can have a baby and a boy can be a girl. 3-bedroom house, $2 million. Scratch your head, say what the hell? What you say? They want our guns, they want our cars, they want our kids. They've gone too far. They have too much, but that ain't enough. Upside down is right side up. Upside down is right side up. Blame Brandon, the whole world's gonna hell. Blame Brandon, he'll blame somebody else. Blame Brandon when you can't find it on the shelf. Gas prices rising higher than a 5-alarm fire, and your life savings going up in smoke. Well, that ain't no joke. Who are you gonna blame? Blame Brandon. Send 50 billion to Ukraine while the USA circles the drain. Buries hands in all of it without his puppeteers. Brandon don't do it. Hey, what you say? They want your money, they want your choice. Shut up, come fly, they want your voice. When will we say enough's enough? Upside down is right side up. Upside down is right side up. Blame Brandon, the whole world's gonna hell. Blame Brandon, he'll blame somebody else. orders, law and disorder, rules for me but not for thee. Afghanistan, way to go, man, make no mistake, it's all a plan. Liar, liar, house on fire, right wing, left wing, this ain't choir. Your evil scheme ain't working yet. Epic fail, your great reset. Epic fail, your great reset. Blame Brandon, the whole world's gonna hell. Blame Brandon, he'll blame somebody else. Blame Brandon when you can't find it on the shelf. Gas prices rising higher than a five-alarm fire, and your life savings going up in smoke. Well, that ain't no joke. Who you gonna blame? Blame Brandon. Who you gonna blame? Blame Brandon. Who you gonna blame? Blame Brandon.
I love it. I love it. And you know, we are living in crazy times, man. I mean, you encapsulated it all in that video, Billy. I mean, what a great video. I can't hear you, Billy. You're on mute. It's just on mute.
Yeah.
There you go.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was like,
Yeah,
no, not again. No, like we got so far this time.
Making the video was really funny because like I don't watch the news. I watch your show. I watch a few shows, but I had to comb through all the garbage, like just looking for his
It
faces.
puts you in a bad mood, right?
I was just kind of especially the wacky stuff, the grooming and the kids' story hours and the trans, whatever that they're doing.
Yeah.
That whole agenda is so horrific and so horrible. Yeah, it's just you get to see, you go, man, the world has gone. We've gone so, we're in a going to hell in a handbasket, but we ain't.
It's like a spiral. Like we're just going down the drain.
We're circling the drain. And you saw the video of what's his name, Zelensky dancing. Did you see?
Yeah, they're actors. I mean, these guys are all actors. Yeah, he was wearing high heels.
If you see that whole video, it is so sickening. And the thought that our tax money is going to, wow.
Yeah.
Is it going there?
Can't talk about it on YouTube though.
Yeah.
But,
wow.
Billy, I love the Blame Brandon video. I love Warrior. I love all your music.
Thank you, brother.
You're a huge inspiration in this movement. Are you going to be at any events coming up?
Yes, I am going to be at a big event. It's called, what is it called? Renegade. It's called the Texas.
Is that the one in Dallas?
Are you going?
I believe I am, yes.
Yeah, he told me you were going, so that'd be great. It's called the Texas Reckoning Fest, and yourself, Juan, is on it, I think. 𝗬𝗏𝗽𝗏𝗃𝗍𝗃.
I heard Lindell. Is Lindell going to be there?
Mike Lindell's going to be there. Mike Adams is going to be there. Billy Falcon's going to be there. I'm going to be singing. I'm the musical guest, which should be fun.
That's awesome, man.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, Billy, I love you, man, and you're welcome on my show. Once again, tell people where they can find you how many times a week on your channel?
Yeah, you can get the record, which is 20 songs for $17. And if you can't afford it, let us know. Just tell the website and we'll get you the music anyway. Blah, blah, blah. So this is Billy Falcon Never Surrender. There's 20 songs on this, and that's the new one. That's at @billyfalcon.com and the channel. And I hope the sound was good, David. It wasn't great in my headphones, but if it ain't, you could hear the stuff.
It sounded great on my end. I'll listen to it again.
Oh, good. I hope so. I hope so. But you could hear all the music at Billy Falcon Music. The YouTube channel, it's Billy Falcon Music, and I'm live Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday at 6:30 for the most part. And it's a great bunch of folks. 6:30 Central, yes, please, thank you. So that's
all right, Billy.
A lot of excitement.
Thank you,
David. This has been fun. Both times were fun. This is the Mulligan Show.
You get the technical difficulties here and there, but Billy, thank you for coming on, and let's keep in touch. And I'll see you out there in Dallas.
All right, that'll be fun, David. I look forward to it. God bless you, brother.
God bless you.
See you, folks. Thank you. Bye.
Bye, folks.